Welcome to the Dinner Agenda. This is Bo.
And I'm CeeLo.
So, our last podcast was about a more serious topic, PTSD, and I know that we covered some trauma responses and talked a little bit about your need to always be busy
Beyond the go,
and
baby.
the
Yeah.
guilt that you yeah, and the guilt that you felt when you weren't.
Mhm.
I did some reading, so I just wanted before we actually start this episode, I wanted to just kind of do a bit of a follow up because I did do some reading um, to try to figure you out a little
You
bit
found
better.
out what's wrong with me.
Yes,
Mm.
everything. No, so
There's such a long list, actually.
I know, right? I can't even. We're gonna have to be on a podcast for 5 years if I have to go through everything. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so I was able to confirm that the inability to sit still can actually be a trauma response associated to PTSD.
Okay.
It can be. So I'm not saying that that's what your issue is, but it can definitely be. Like we know that some people shut down and withdraw from situations, but other people do whatever it takes to avoid thinking about either traumatic experiences or their feelings about stuff. So like negative feelings that just about their lives or themselves or whatever.
Oh.
Um, so they have this need to be busy all the time. And it can definitely be a trauma response. So deliberately avoiding the trauma by throwing yourself into overdrive, right? But there is something that's actually called productivity guilt.
Oh, that sounds like it, because I was thinking about it too after we chatted about
Mhm,
it. And and I don't feel it's like I need to keep moving per se, because I
mhm,
would love to be able to not move, a little more. But I think it's more along the lines of the guilt. I have like
mhm.
extreme guilt if I'm not doing something
Okay.
productive.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that is interesting. Okay, so not necessarily related to PTSD is that thing called productivity guilt. And
What does it
it's
say
just
about
it
me?
well, it's this like it's a sustained feeling of guilt, and it's usually associated to not achieving or not able to complete things that you've planned. So from what I've read, it like, some of the things that they say, it's like it can affect all aspects of your life. So people can have this productivity guilt in relation to household duties, which you talked about,
Yeah.
health and wellness goals. So like, if you've got these specific goals for yourself for health or whatever, and you're not achieving them, it's like massive guilt. It makes you feel like you're not good enough or inadequate if you're not achieving what you have defined as something that you need to achieve within a specific time frame. Like it's these unrealistic expectations that either you're putting on yourself or others are putting on you. So does any of that
Wow.
resonate with you at all,
I don't know.
or
Oprah, you're gonna make me cry.
are
Um, I think
we
part
Oprah and Gail?
right?
Is that
Totally.
what this
We're
is?
Oprah and
Okay.
Gail, that's funny.
Who's
Um,
Gail and who's Oprah? Okay, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I think I relate more to Gail.
Okay, you can be Gail.
Anyways,
I'll be Oprah. I'm richer
yeah,
if I'm
you're
Oprah,
totally
so I'll
richer.
take it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll take it. Okay, so
Um,
resonation, does that any of that resonate
I
with you?
I kind of feel like bits of it do, because I feel like I always have this ongoing list of things to get done. I don't
Yeah.
I don't feel a lot of guilt necessarily around, like, setting a fitness goal and not getting it done. I love to set little wee goals for myself, so I'm always doing stuff like that. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like I need to, like, marinate with this information a little bit
Yeah.
and think about
So
it, you know?
let me give you a little bit more to marinate with as you're
Okay.
thinking about it, okay?
Talk to me.
So, yeah, so when I was reading some of this stuff, I was thinking, okay, so there could be a few scenarios that
Mhm,
might fit you, right? Knowing what you went through as a young child with the split up of your family
mhm,
and that your mom was left to, raise the four kids by herself essentially.
mhm.
Maybe you were given more adult oriented tasks, like, to help out with the family situation, and maybe that's
Mm.
part of it. Or maybe you had, that feeling that you had to parent your parent. right? So, like, you had to help in order for her not to break down or feel, like, overwhelmed. Maybe you were sensing that there was some of that, and so you've
Mm.
put those kinds of expectations on yourself, and then that kind of brought itself forward into your adulthood. Um, or maybe, and I don't know, this might be a big one to think about, but do you think possibly you feel sometimes that you have to prove yourself worthy so that people don't leave?
Oh my god, I got chills now.
Did you? Okay, so
Yeah,
maybe
I
that's
totally
something that's
got
resonating with
chills.
you. Yeah, yeah. So
I mean, maybe that could be something. I don't
mhm,
feel like
mhm,
parent the parent.
mhm,
Initially, when you said that, I'm like, "No, man, my mom had everything on lock." She was coordinated and organized and got everyone to swim lessons, and we all went to school and blah, blah, like, I don't feel like there was any time where I felt like she was slacking and I needed to step in.
mhm,
But then there was a lot of times when, because mom was so busy, my older sister took on a lot of kind of parenting duties and got dinner started or helped us, with things around the house and did some of that. So I don't know, I don't
mm.
know. Maybe I should get a therapist, you know what I'm saying?
Who knows? But,
Let me
something to think
unpack
about.
all of this information. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's kind of
yeah,
crazy to think about it that way. I suppose everything in life now is you can relate back to something, either from early
sure.
childhood or some kind of childhood experience that, I mean, all of those experiences put you on this road or create this map ahead of you, and it's like what you do with it and all that. So it's kind of interesting to think about it and
Yeah,
think
yeah,
about how it might
yeah,
impact your road now, right?
yeah. But think about that worthiness, like, consider that, think about it because it seemed to hit you when I
Yeah.
said it. So, yeah, just something to think about, something to maybe research, read about, whatever, talk about.
I'm just gonna be over here rocking in the corner crying back and forth.
Great, my job is done. Thanks, bye.
Thanks, Oprah. Thanks a
You're
lot.
welcome, Gail. All right. Okay, now
Oh,
to
so
the
funny.
actual agenda
What do
item
we
we have for
got? What do
today.
we have
Yeah.
on the agenda? You know
What
what we have on the agenda today? We're going
what do
we're
we
going
have?
with the high school flashback.
Yikes.
Right?
Are we? Did you put this on the agenda?
I put this on the agenda because I thought it would be fun to kind of go
Okay.
back to where it all began, where this friendship
Okay.
began
Yep.
and what that
Yep.
was like. And then I was kind of curious. The girls at work were talking about high school reunions. I think one of them has a high school reunion coming up. So then the whole conversation was around, would you go? Wouldn't you go? And I'm like, I don't know if I would go. I'm kind of curious to see people. And then I'm also
Yeah.
like 100% not interested to see people. If I could just
I
like
get
go
it.
as a ghost, that would be ideal, right?
I get it, and I'm with you on this one for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Would
Okay.
you would you
So,
go? High school reunion, would you go?
no.
Why?
No. Okay, so this is like it's so silly because, it's been so long since we've been in high school, and to me it feels a bit immature to be like, "No, I don't wanna, see these people or what." But okay, so the real gist of this for me is like my reason for saying no is because for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's like I feel self-conscious, and it's like, I feel older, I feel fatter, I feel, you know what I mean? And I just don't, well, it's a little embarrassing, and it's like, I don't know, do I wanna see all these people and have them see me? I mean, obviously, this is a confidence issue that's
Okay.
leading towards the no.
Okay,
It's not
but
the only reason,
okay,
though,
but
okay?
there's one thing that I'll say to that.
Yes.
Everyone that we went to high school with will
Yeah,
also be older.
I know.
Everyone ages. So
It's
that's
true.
like par for the course.
It's true, absolutely. 100% absolutely. But then there is also the, um high school was tough at times, right? Like, it was really hard to navigate it, and sometimes it was very anxiety inducing for me. And, for most of like, when I think about back on high school, I can definitely say that there were some really, really great fun times that I
Mhm.
had experienced, but there was also a lot of hell that I experienced as well. A lot of not so great times. And it's those things, it's the feeling that I didn't fully belong, or that I wasn't really fully seen, or that I was trying so hard to be somebody that I wasn't, just so that I could fit in appropriately. It's those kinds of stresses that, when you say, "Would you go to a high school reunion now?" I'm like, "No," because really, I just don't want to see some people that made me feel insecure, uncomfortable, or not accepting of just me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then there's also the fear that goes along with it, which is, are they going to be like, "Oh my god, look how fat she got," or you know what I mean, like that kind of stuff. So I just, yeah, it's a combination of all that. But no, I really, like, legit. There's nothing you could say to change my mind. The answer is no. But
If
I
I
would.
decided to go, I would
Mm,
drag your ass with me, I'm
no,
just saying.
no, I
Also,
won't.
why
No,
can't we just change our perspective on things and say, "Yeah, there were
right?
absolutely shitty times. There were also some really awesome and
Yeah,
fun times," because of course, that's where we met, but
yeah, of course.
it's like, why can't you walk in there and say, "Yeah, maybe I'm fatter, maybe I'm older, but I'm also gainfully employed in an awesome job. I have a fabulous husband, a house, cats." Like, why can't
Hmm.
we go into it saying, like, "I'm an adult now. I've had these successes. I feel good about myself." And, I think it's just like you have to change your perspective on it a little bit.
Well, that's fantastic, and have a great time. No, I'm kidding. It's
You're
like,
an
I'm
ass.
not going. No, 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 no. I'm teasing. I hear you, and you're 100% right. Everything that you're saying is totally correct.
So
Um, it's just not, like, honestly, CeeLo, it's not worth it. It's not worth me. I just don't have the desire to see some of those people. I just don't. And, if you actually Google it, because I did see this on the agenda, and I did a quick Google because I just wanted to see what kind of popped up. And I don't think I'm alone in this. I think there's a lot of people who feel like me, where it's like, do you really want to go revisit certain things that were, or people that were anxiety inducing for you? Right? I don't know.
I get that part. I totally do. But then I think about like the funny stuff and the fun times and the
Mhm.
laughs. I have no interest or time in my life to rekindle friendships from high school that I haven't
Right.
seen in like 40 well maybe not 40, 30 something years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I have no
Yeah.
interest for that. But
Yeah.
I just think it would be curious because I feel like we're gonna go there. You see, I'm using positive. We're gonna go and we're gonna see, oh, look at that person who was a total bitch to me, who I thought was like the top of the pecking order. I felt like I was at the bottom of the pecking order. And oh my God, she's like 3 times divorced, doesn't
Mhm.
own a home, doesn't have a job. I don't know. Like it,
Yeah. I
when
know what you
you
mean.
know what I mean? And maybe it's
Yeah.
like things will level out and maybe it'll be a confidence boosting scenario as
For
opposed to
sure.
like dragging you back, right?
For sure. And, I think that what I'm saying, when I say no, and the reasons why I'm saying no, I know that that's all me, like, it's my fears that are making me feel this way. But logically, if I was to go, people probably would not be looking at me this way, it's the pressures that I'm putting on myself, for
Oh, yeah,
sure.
total.
Yeah, but, honestly, I just don't have any desire. But that said, though, there was not too long ago, some 2 girls that we went to school with had reached out to me, over Facebook, and said, "Hey, we're meeting these 3 other girls for lunch. We haven't seen each other in, 30 years.
Yeah,
We would love if you could attend." Now, you knew these girls in high school as well,
yeah,
but I also knew them from elementary school. Like, it was because you and I did not go to the same elementary school. So I've known them literally since I was like 5,
yeah,
4,
yeah,
whatever, you know what I mean?
the
So,
whole
yeah, yeah, like, really
whole
long.
career,
So
yeah.
I did agree to go meet them, but I will tell you, I was very anxious, um, about meeting up with them. again, it's all, I think, relating to my self-esteem, dude. I really think that it is, because the whole time, I was excited to see them. I wanted to see them, and I wanted to catch up with them because I really liked these girls. But the whole time leading up to it, I was like, "Oh my god, what am I gonna wear? Oh my god, I'm gonna look so terrible. Oh my god, they're gonna see how fat I got. Oh my god," like all these things were going through my head. I get there, and we're having this lunch, and it was so great to see them, and they all looked so beautiful, and they were all really achieving wonderful things in their lives, and which I'm very happy about, because they were a really nice group of girls. um but then towards the end, one of them was like, let's take a group photo, and I'm like, oh geez, fuck. Are you fucking kidding? Like, fuck off. So I know. So they
Why?
took
You
this
just didn't
photo.
wanna be in the photo?
No. I just because they still on their Facebook, I know that they still socialize with a lot of people through high school that, were a little, I want to say, traumatizing for me. They weren't traumatizing. It was,
Assholes.
you know, like, just, people that I wasn't connected with, right?
Right, right.
And I just didn't feel like having the judgment. So, like, I know that this is stemming from years and years and years of being made fun of because of my weight, being put down because of my weight. So I know that this lack of confidence about my appearance is based on that, and it's coming from that.
Do you
But it
think I'm curious
Mhm,
that you said that.
mhm,
Although I always felt uncomfortable at high
mhm,
school, like, there was always this something wasn't quite right, right? Like, uncomfortable.
mhm.
I don't
Agreed.
remember anyone ever making fun of me
They
specifically
did
when I
me.
think back.
They did me. Well, here's the thing.
Who are these
They
fuckers? I'm
did
gonna go punch them out, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you his fucking name. So,
Yeah.
no, but, there was so it's not like it happened a lot. It was,
Mhm.
like, very few and far between. Usually it was, stupid little immature boys. But I will tell you, when I was in grade 12, so how old are you? 17 in grade 12? Old enough that people know you don't make fun of others. You know what I mean? Like, especially to their face. This little fucker, he actually called my house at 1 o'clock in the morning. He was obviously drunk, and he was just going on about how fat I was, how he wanted to fuck my creamy white ass. Like, do you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like, yeah, I'm not kidding you. I was devastated. I was devastated because I recognized his voice. I knew who it was. Um, I was devastated. And I remember, and you've probably forgotten, but I remember calling you girls, and I remember saying, like, "What the fuck?" Like, I had to deal with this in elementary school. I am, like, in grade 12, and I'm
yeah.
having to fucking deal with this. This is ridiculous. And so, I cut myself some slack, man, because, if I don't feel comfortable to see these people, um, there's a good reason. So, yeah.
Okay, fine. Maybe I'll
Shitty, eh?
attach, like, a body cam and I'll go, and then that way
Yeah,
you
do
can
that.
be happy and see everybody and point and
Yeah,
laugh, and then we'll
yeah.
have that kind of experience.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. But, back to that picture real quick. So that
Oh, yeah,
picture
yeah,
got
yeah.
taken. Yeah, yeah, that picture got taken, and I was just dreading it. My heart was in my stomach, and it was just like, "Oh, fuck." And please don't post it to Facebook, is what I was thinking. Don't post it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, of course she posts it, right? But she didn't tag anybody. But she posted it, and then, of course, everybody that she's got from high school that are on her friends list, you know what I mean? They recognized it.
Yeah.
They recognized me right away. So, I was just like, "Oh, well, it's done now," right?
Yeah.
Like, it's done. So maybe now I should go because,
Yeah.
I've been outed. But, yeah, that was really stressful, and I'm convinced I'm not the only person who feels that way. But I think there are a lot of people that feel like you, which is like, "I don't care. I'm gonna go. I wanna see everybody," and, you know?
It's just more like the curiosity of,
Yeah.
it's that whole people you've held in low regard and the people you held in high regard when you were
Yeah.
kids, And
Yeah.
now what's come of them is just my kind of curiosity, but
Yeah.
I didn't have the benefit of knowing anyone when I started high school in grade 9 'cause, our family had moved from one hood to the other, and so I was starting grade 9 brand new, didn't have
Yeah.
any friends, and slowly made friends. I was kind of like a jack of all friends person. I had no
Yeah.
close friends, but I knew the stoners, and I knew a few sporty people, and I knew a few prefects and,
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
whole thing, and eventually through as time went on, we kind of had that small, group of friends that we were part of,
Yeah.
and then towards the end, I feel like it was, you and I more so,
Yeah. Yeah.
closer and stuff, but
Yeah.
do you remember, okay, so my daughter plays, basketball, and last year, the team she was on, they practiced at our high school. And
Oh,
so
get
I
out.
I
Oh, yeah.
drove in and, like, parked the car, and I, like, came in, and they have all the pictures up on the wall, and I'm
Oh
just
my
like it
gosh.
felt like a total blast from the past to walk through there,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, there's the washroom where all the smokers hung out, all the Gina smokers used to go in there," and it just felt
Yeah.
so crazy, and then I was like, "I wonder if that Italian bakery is open. No, I'll go
Is
get it."
it?
No, it's totally not
No.
open. Yeah.
Oh, that's we used to that I remember now that you that Italian bakery, we would go at lunch and they would
Yeah,
have those little mini pizzas,
and
um,
custard slices.
and the custard slices. That's right,
Yeah,
the custard slices. That's right. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You know what's funny? That just brings a memory that, bakery, that was the first time that I I was eating with one of our mutual friends where I actually thought, "Geez, I wonder if this person is a lesbian."
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was the first thing, this instinct I ever had or thought I ever had about somebody, um, being gay or being a lesbian, and it's not like we knew much about that back then, right? Because we didn't.
No.
Um, no, I mean, at that time, actually, when we were in high school, I remember that's when they just started, they really started kind of educating us on AIDS, if you remember, right?
Yeah,
Like, because that was really prevalent, I think, at the time, and, they had, like they were advertising, where to call if you
help
feel like you've got you know what I mean? So
helplines
that was
and
the
stuff. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah, but I mean, outside of that, there really wasn't much discussion about
yeah.
sexuality or, that kinda stuff, but yeah, I
No.
remember that. That just brought that memory back. That's pretty funny.
Isn't that hilarious? And then
It
hanging
is.
out outside on the bleachers at lunch when the
Yeah,
weather was warm and
yeah,
just getting up
yeah.
to no good.
So
Yeah.
go on.
I was
What?
gonna
What
say
were you gonna
skipping class and probably just going to get custard slices skipping classes.
say?
My daughter is
Yeah.
so funny now because she's like, "Is it okay if well, like, we're coming back from a school trip at this time, so technically I would arrive at school at this time, which means I only have about 30 minutes of this class left. Is it okay if I don't go to that, and then I'll come home and I wanna get this project done or whatever?" And I'm like,
Okay, she is not your biological daughter because there is no way you would have ever
"I know,
said to your
right?"
mom, "Will you
I feel
mind?"
like I am blessed with such a she's focused on her marks, and she's so
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm so happy for that. The other
yeah,
one, not so much.
this one.
He's gonna be my skipping school guy for sure, but
He's taking after us.
yeah, it's funny
That's
because
what he's doing.
it's hard to not think about our
Mhm.
experiences and then listen to what my daughter's going through, and with friendships, with actual achieving marks, like getting the work done type of stuff and the sports, and it's hard to not think back to what our experience was like, and I don't know, I
Yeah,
think the kids and the girls are it as much as social media has changed so much for them,
mhm,
it's still kind of the same in that they're young and they're growing and they're learning about themselves, they're learning about how to be a good friend and what they want in a good friend,
yeah,
and it's just kind of sweet to see her going through that. It's
yeah,
heartbreaking at times because it's tough, but,
yeah, yeah,
um, I said to her, I said, Auntie Bo and I, we met in high school at the very beginning, but we didn't become, really close friends until, grade 11, grade 12. I said, "Your people, you'll
Mhm.
find your people, you'll find
Yeah,
your good friends," and she's got a couple of those now. So, I don't know,
that's
it's
great.
so weird to think about it though, I guess. Feels
It
like
it
so
is,
long.
it really yeah. No, for sure it is, and, you're so right. I mean, those are the times when you are really trying to learn about yourself, and if you're in a good enough environment, home-wise, I think that, people really begin to come into themselves, at that point. If you're not in a great home life, it might take a little bit longer. I know that you and I had similar experiences in high school, and I know that, we had moments of skipping class and all that other stuff, but at the end of it, I mean, we turned out pretty okay. We've both got really good jobs. We've got great home lives. We've got great spouses. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we've done okay.
Yeah.
So, maybe cut your son a little slack. Who knows?
I know,
But
right?
I have
He starts grade 9 next year, so it'll be a whole
oh,
new world for him
Lord.
for sure.
Oh my god.
Um, what was
I
I
wanna
gonna
ask you a question, though.
Yeah, go.
Yeah. Did any I'd like to know if you I don't know, what was the most traumatic thing that happened to you in high school? What would you classify as something super traumatic? Because I don't remember you going through anything super traumatic, but maybe you have.
Um, no, I wouldn't classify anything as a specific, like, trauma. I think there were
Mhm.
different experiences that I remember, to this day. I think in high school is when, probably even before high school when you think about it, but I started to really, puberty hits and you start to realize, "Okay, I'm a little different from everybody else." I definitely
Uh,
had crushes on girls, which I talked to no one about, and I don't
yeah.
even think I related it to, like, sexual feelings or anything like that at the time. It was just more
Mhm.
of a fondness, kind of crushy feeling that you get.
Mhm.
So I think that was probably the toughest part for me, is not figuring that out, or what that was, or
Mm.
why I felt different from everybody, and
Yeah.
probably to some extent why I kept myself away a little bit. Like, I don't know if I gave up my whole self until after years later when I had come out,
Yeah.
right? That I was I was fun, I got along with everybody, and it was just kinda surfacey for me.
Yeah.
Um, so I
Yeah.
think
I
that
get that.
was one thing, and then I think watching close friends go through things. um
Mhm.
I remember one time a friend of mine had a boyfriend, and the boyfriend had broken up with her, and she was just a friggin' wreck, and
Mhm.
was
Mhm.
crying and ran into the bathroom and exposed her wrist to the
Oh,
metal on the toilet paper and was trying to, like, and I'm, like, pulling her o she's trying to, like, cut
yeah.
herself on the toilet paper holder metal,
Yeah.
which isn't even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
she was
things like
expressing
that,
how
that
her
I was
pain.
like, "Oh my
Yeah.
gosh." Like, I feel like
Yeah.
those some of those things kind of stick out, and a lot of super, um, fun times, I think, too, right? Like,
Mhm. Mhm.
courtyard dances and,
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
driver's license and just, like,
Yeah.
all those kind of milestones
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
fun things, but
Mhm.
yeah. I don't think there was
Do
any
you
specific trauma. What about you?
specific trauma, I don't know if I would well, maybe one thing I would classify as trauma, and the other
Other than
thing
the
I would
creamy white ass phone call. The creamy white
yeah,
ass
no,
phone call
not
was
that.
traumatic.
Yeah, yeah, right. No, I would say I think, I had been, like, early on, grade 9, 10, really, really, really close with this one particular girl who had lived across the street from me, um, and we did, like, everything together,
Yeah.
everything. We would walk to school together, we would walk home together, we ate lunch together, we go to classes together, we would spend the weekends with each other. Like, I mean, it was like we were never apart from each other. And then one day, she decided, I suppose, I don't know exactly how it all kinda came about, but she, started to become friends with the more popular group, right?
Mhm.
And she was really cruel. She became, like, I would go to her house in the morning to walk to school because that's what we did every day,
All the time, yeah.
to be told that she had left with the other people that she was now kind of socializing with. She stopped having lunch with me, she stopped, but then, when it came to her needing companionship on the weekends or to go somewhere, or, if they weren't around, well, then she was knocking on my door,
Yeah.
right?
A
So,
backup friend.
um, yeah, that was really hard though because I was young. It was grade 9, grade 10. Actually, I think this started in grade 10 and really solidified itself that we were kind of drifting apart by grade 11 for sure. But it was really hard because my identity was wrapped up in being,
A
friends with
a
this
twosome.
person.
Yeah, a twosome,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's like everybody in high school know, if you wanna know it said would say, "If you wanna know where this person is, look for that person." You know what I mean? Because 'Cause they're like,
Yeah,
they're
inseparable,
they're
yeah.
yeah, they're together all the time, and for it to be cut off so quickly and so, uh, with no explanation, no nothing, um it was tough. I didn't know how to navigate this at all, and I
Yeah,
just got so depressed, and I really started skipping school at that point because I felt like I didn't have a place, Like, I really didn't feel like there was a place for me, and I felt so discarded and so worthless, that I just we talk about, people handle trauma differently. Mine was to disappear. Mine was to become was
hide
to withdraw, and
yeah,
that's what I
hide
did.
out somewhere,
Mhm.
yeah, and I think that makes
Absolutely.
sense. It's funny because I think about that story and what my daughter's going through with friends. So her school was K to 8, so she'd been with kind of a same crew, and then high school hits. Some of them go to different ones, some of them are at the same one. So there's familiar faces all around. And
Mhm.
me, when we moved before grade 9, it was almost like, if I wanna look at the silver lining of that, I started high school not knowing anyone, not knowing what the anything about the school. I was in a new home. There was lots of changes at home, but I kinda had a fresh slate, and I didn't
Mhm.
have that one friend that was my pal up until grade 8 that now all of a sudden wasn't there. None of them were there, and so I don't know if
Yeah.
that was, like, if you wanna, think of the silver lining of that, there was no,
Oh,
I was just kinda going into it clean, and at the time, I feel like I had a pretty positive mindset about it, and then I would say probably halfway through grade 9, I was like, "What the hell? Who are these people I'm
yeah.
hanging with?" You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's so
I get
crazy.
it. I get it, and, it's funny because I remember meeting you. I remember we were, in gym class. I think it was gym class, and we were sitting on the what the hell are they called? The benches.
The bleach oh, yeah, the
Um
benches in the gym.
Yeah, and then you just started talking to me, and I was like, "Oh," and then I started talking to you, and I liked you right from the start. It was like you were just
I'm a
so
likable
personable.
person.
Yeah, you are, you definitely are, and you were very funny too. Very, very funny. You still are funny.
Thanks for that.
Um, yeah, but, talking about silver linings, had that situation not occurred with that other person, I don't think it would have, um allowed me to get closer to you, right? And
Yeah,
so around that time frame is when you and I started getting closer. Um, and I'm thankful for that. I'm really thankful for that because it worked out obviously to my benefit because who wants friends like that? Like, you know
right?
what I mean?
Yeah,
Who,
100%.
and yeah, and here's the bizarre thing, and this might sound a bit immature to you, but for me, it was like a real kind of standing up for myself moment. So the last 5 years I've been going through therapy and I've been understanding a lot about myself and why I feel the way that I feel and, all that other stuff. And I never really had a voice before. I was never allowed to have a voice.
Mhm.
And so now that I was, working on understanding myself and my value and my self-worth and just because I'm still feeling self-conscious about my body and I'm not comfortable to necessarily do a high school reunion does not mean that I'm not finding worth about myself. You know what I mean? Like there are things that I am healing from and growing from. But one thing in particular, this
And
particular
things that you
person.
should be proud of and feel
Oh,
positive
yeah, for
about
sure.
and all of that. You always say, "Oh, yeah, yeah, for sure," but I don't know. I feel like I'm just gonna follow you around and give you positive little vibes and energy
No,
all the
no.
time.
No, no, no. Listen, because 'cause we're talking, so I'm giving you, like, the good and the bad and everything, but in a nutshell, okay, I
Mhm.
feel personally that I am allowed to feel self-conscious about situations, and I am allowed to, say to myself, "You know what? Psychologically, it is going to be more anxiety inducing for me to go to a high school reunion than it would be to not." From a pros and cons perspective, I have nothing that I wanna get from going to a high school reunion. So, when I add up all of that stuff, I say, "You know what? It's not worth the effort for myself to go." But on the flip side, I am learning.
You'd watch my body cam if I went.
Yes, I would. 100% I would, and then we would debrief the second you got home.
We would
That's for
totally
sure.
need to
But
debrief.
yeah, well, but the thing is, like, I am learning though, and I am getting better, and there are things that I feel have changed, in my outlook on myself. I think that there are also things that I'm gonna have to continue to work on for the rest of my life. They're just so deep rooted,
Mhm.
that I'm gonna have to keep doing some of that self-talk. But I'm gonna tell you that Chicky Poo that I was referring to, who left me for the more popular crowd,
Bitch.
she was yeah, right? She was friends with me on Facebook, and when I started therapy and I started realizing, "Wait a minute, I put up with shit that I should never have put up with." Like, you start to
Right.
realize the people that you had invited into your life and how they were mimicking other not so great people that you had been surrounded by. And I became very like, "You know what? I don't even want you on my face." Like, yeah, I get that I'm a lot older now and that, you know, things have changed and, we've all got families of our own and whatever. But I don't even want you on my Facebook anymore. And it
I
was
don't
just
want you.
my yeah,
Goodbye,
it was my
goodbye.
way of kind of standing up for myself so late in the game, but it sure as shit felt great to unfucking friend her. And I'll tell you, and I did. And she ever since I did that, she continuously reaches out to me.
Really?
Continuously.
Did you ever
"Oh."
respond with, "Remember
No,
back in grade
no,
9 when you unfriended me, you fucking hoe?
no.
Well,
Yeah,
now
no.
it's my turn."
Yeah, I know. No, I just don't even bother responding. So she's reached out to me a few times since I've unfriended her. Oh, she would message and she'd say, "Oh, I wondered where you went. I just found you on Facebook. I thought we were friends on Facebook before," and blah blah blah. And then, I didn't respond. And then somebody that we went to high school with had passed away, a neighbor of ours, and she reached out at that point. I still didn't respond. And then that picture that was taken at the lunch that I had with the other girls, the high
Yeah,
school girls,
yeah.
she reached out then too. She was like, "Oh my god, you look so great, blah, blah, blah." And I was just like, "Bye."
Bye.
It's just no response. And I know that might sound a little immature, but you know what? To me, it feels really good to just be like, "Honestly, fuck you." Like,
I
seriously,
totally get
just
it.
fuck you.
I totally get
Yeah,
it, and then
yeah,
in the same breath, I'm like, "You guys, we were young, we were just kids, we were figuring it out.
yeah,
Maybe, let's hope that she
yeah.
learned a lesson about friendships and what that
I
means, and
don't think
maybe
so.
something has changed over time."
I honestly don't think so. I know that sounds really silly, but from when I was friends with her on Facebook, I think that there is still an element of um fair weather friendish, if you will.
Oh, okay.
I can see it in the interactions and yeah, I'm gonna go with she's probably the same person. I could be wrong, but in my mind I'm going
We
with
should
that.
figure out how to do a poll on social to say, "Would you or
Yeah.
wouldn't you go to a reunion?"
Okay, I'll do that.
I'm kind of curious to see what people are saying, and whether or not people still hang with people that they originally met
Yeah.
and were friends with in high school, or what's changed. So curious about that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'll
Um,
do a poll. I'll get the poll set up
yeah, let's do a
and I'll
poll.
put it on. I'm curious too because like I said before, I can't be the only one who feels this way. I can't be the only one who's felt good times and bad times in high school, but,
If we do a
more
poll
anxiety inducing.
and yeah, if we do a poll and everyone agrees with us, awesome.
I
But
know where
if
you
people are, like,
yeah.
all disagreeing with us, then we'll just take down the poll. Okay.
Well, no, no, we're not gonna do that, but here's
Okay.
I'm wondering if I should make you this deal. I don't know, but what we could do. No, I'm not gonna say it because then people are gonna vote otherwise just to make it happen, so no deal, but you would go to, the high school reunion, I would not.
Yeah.
Let's see how many kind of match what
Yeah.
each of us think.
I'm
Let's just
curious
see
to
what's
see
out
my
there.
grade 10 boyfriend, you know, because
Oh
that
my god, yes, I
right?
remember him. I do.
Right?
I
"Do you wanna
remember,
date a
and
football player?" That's what he
I
said to me
can't
before he
believe
kissed me.
I can't believe he actually said that to you,
Ugh,
and the funny thing is now,
cringe, cringe.
if he only knew that you were thinking about me. No,
Right?
I'm just joking.
Totally, totally. The other thing
Yeah.
which had me kind of giggling when you were talking about skipping school is I think it's kind of funny, and one of my favorite high school stories was one time you skipped your class to come to my class. Do you
I
recall?
remember.
And we were
Math
in what are
class.
those cubicles called that are outside of the school? Fuck,
I don't know.
can't remember the
Outdoor
name of it.
cubicles? Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember either. I'm too old to remember.
Oh
No,
my
I'm kidding.
god. Portables. We were in a
Portables, that's
portable.
what.
My math
Yep.
class was in a portable, and you came in, and the teacher was like, who's this?" I said, "This is my exchange student, Helga from Sweden," or something. I don't know.
You said I was your cousin.
My
I was
cousin.
your cousin. Yeah, from, like, Sweden or whatever, and that I didn't speak any
I didn't
English.
speak any English, and you had to stay with me, and you attended my whole and everyone was freaking dying. We were all laughing, and I swear, like, I don't understand how this teacher
Oh my
wouldn't
god.
like, he had to have known.
You would think, right? Like,
Were we just
you would
like
think.
dumb kids and we were like, "Oh, we're pulling the wool over this guy's eyes, man." Like, this is
I did not have that particular teacher for any of my classes throughout high school. So he may not have, known me, but for sure there were people in your class that
oh
knew who
god,
the
yeah.
hell I was.
All the
And
Ginas.
my God, were
All the
we
Ginas.
ever laughing? All the Ginas. Did you just say all the Ginas?
Yeah.
Listen, just because I'm Italian does not mean
There was a lot of Ginas in that math class, Bo, I'm telling you.
that. I know there were. I know, but you know what?
You know what we should
I
also
just.
post? Your glamour shot.
Oh my God! Don't
I
you
think I
do.
have that somewhere still, so we'll put that on the list to post up there, eh?
Listen, that's not happening,
Oh,
but
it's so
but that
funny.
math class was really funny. I can't believe we actually did that
Yeah,
and pretended that I didn't speak English and got away with it.
and got
And
away with
why?
it. Yeah.
Why would I skip a class to go to your class? I think it was just the whole thrill of, "Let's see if we can get away with this."
Yeah, 100%. Isn't that what all of high school is? What can you get away with?
Pretty much.
Like,
Yeah,
not get
pretty much.
busted for?
Yeah, absolutely,
Too funny.
absolutely.
That was a good one.
Well,
It was
it
fun to catch
was,
up.
and it was nice to reminisce for
Mhm.
sure. But I'm thankful that I've met you. And I just I guess the events have led us to where we are.
Yeah.
So I can't really, resent them.
No, absolutely. I'm with you on that. And it's
Yeah.
fun to think of all the fun memory. As much as it was a painful time, like I don't know anyone that's gone to high school that doesn't reminisce about some
Mhm.
hard times or painful times, but there was a lot of good laughs in there too.
There
And
was.
we found each other.
We did. We did.
Aw, look at
And I wouldn't
us.
have it any other way.
Aw.
Absolutely.
All
Yeah.
right, Bo.
Okay.
We'll
Well,
chat
on that
soon.
note, yeah, absolutely. So we'll chat with everybody next time. This is Bo.
And this is CeeLo. Thanks for listening. Thanks for taking a seat at the table today. We love our dinner guests.
Don't forget to subscribe and follow The Dinner Agenda on the podcast platform you use so that you don't miss any new episodes. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Dinner Agenda.
We look forward to hearing your comments, questions, and even ideas you may have on future episodes.
Thanks for taking this journey with us.